Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. Again, I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, to everyone who is celebrating Hanukkah all over the country and the world. And of course, our hearts go out to the victims and their families of what happened in Bondi Beach and what has happened in Amsterdam and all over the country and the world. Of course, on this network, we will always memorialize the fallen. Speaking of the fallen, we have major breaking news about a family that unfortunately died today. We'll put up the slide. Heartbreaking. NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his immediate family were killed today in a private plane crash. He died alongside his wife, Christina Grossu, and their two children, 14-year-old daughter, Emma, and 6-year-old son, Ryder. Rest in peace. This is such a sad story. I know people that knew the NASCAR driver, such as Tim Fazenbaker and many others. It's so sad. And we are getting reports now as the night goes on and throughout the days of how this happened. Again, he was on his private plane from North Carolina down to Sarasota, Florida. And unfortunately, he and his family didn't make it. There was other people that died on that plane as well, but they have confirmation that the NASCAR driver, Greg Biffle, and his immediate family were killed today. And of course, our hearts go out to them. We will always memorialize them. We will always memorialize Greg Biffle for the work that he has done over the years. Another major breaking news. Let's put up the next slide. So this is very near and dear to my heart. As you know, I am a professional opera singer. I will be getting back into the Kennedy Center. I'm waiting for renovations to kick in. But the Kennedy Center board, and remember, President Trump is the chairman of the board. They voted unanimously today to rename the building to the Trump Kennedy Center. Incredible. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, announced that the vote is because of the unbelievable work President Trump has done over the last year in saving the building, not only from the standpoint of its reconstruction, but also financially and its reputation. Congratulations to President Donald J. Trump, and likewise, congratulations to President Kennedy, because this will be a truly great team long into the future. The building will no doubt attain new levels of success and grandeur. And I am so happy about this. I'm looking forward to singing in this building in the Trump Kennedy Center. Remember, they talked about naming it the Melania Trump Kennedy Center, but they unanimously voted to call it the Trump Kennedy Center. I hope everybody goes to the Trump Kennedy Center, gets tickets, comes to see me, comes to see other shows, and I will be making opera great again. And also breaking news, last night at 9 p.m., President Trump laid out for the American people the wonderful accomplishments that he has achieved in just a year. It'll be a year, January 20th, 2026. The president was strong. He was bold. He was fierce. And he talked about the main difference between himself and Joe Biden, aka the Autopen president, or we just call him the Autopen. As you know, President Trump has been fixing this country. He has been fixing all the crap that Joe Biden and Obama put into place. And we are getting to the bottom of what really happened under the, quote, Autopen presidency. So we put up this slide. President Trump, this is one of the main things that he said. No, we'll go back to there you go, because I didn't read it yet. At POTUS, he said, for so long, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. Not anymore. We are putting America first. Also, President Trump talked about giving more money to the military, to our veterans. That is something that is so important, giving money back to our farmers, making sure that our farmland isn't owned by China, but is owned by American citizens. He also talked about health care. He wants everybody to have their own private health care. He is talking about how Obamacare is a disaster. He talked about how Obamacare is a disaster. It's called the Unaffordable Care Act. And it's funny because in the halls of the presidency, President Trump actually wrote a little snippet about Barack Hussein Obama and how he was famous for the Unaffordable Care Act. President Trump made it very known to people, because we're ending open enrollment. It actually ended December 15th. We just ended open enrollment. And now he is talking about how people should have the right to have their own private health insurance. As you know, I'm a health insurance and life insurance agent. I give people private health care all the time. I do not believe in Obamacare. I do not believe in the Affordable Care Act. And I do not believe in Medicare for all. It doesn't exist. It doesn't work. And it will bankrupt our country. Everybody has their own issues. Everybody needs their own private health insurance. And that is something huge that President Trump emphasized last night. And we'll put up the last slide of breaking news from Secretary Lori Chavez. Let's put that up. So she wrote, Secretary Lori Chavez said, POTUS is the greatest president of my lifetime, and he continues delivering historic wins for the American people. Tonight's address highlighted how much work we've done to fix the broken economy Joe Biden left behind and restore our nation to greatness. We've got a lot of work left to do, but with President Trump at the helm, we'll keep fighting for everyday Americans. And I, wholeheartedly agree with her. President Trump is the greatest president of my lifetime as well. And he continues to deliver historic wins for we the people. That shows you MAGA, America first. When you are on the Trump train, really on the Trump train, you really understand MAGA and America first. I'm on Trump's train. I've been on his train from the beginning. I will continue to be on his train because he's done such wonderful things for my generation, for older generations, for the younger generations. You have to really, really understand what he is doing, the executive orders that he's putting into place. Also, he has some of the best people working around him at this time. I know the New York Times has tried to slander Susie Summerall Wiles, Caroline Levitt, and many other people that work under the president. Let me tell you something. He's got some loyal people that work under him, and he's getting jobs done for the American people. It's very exciting to see the wins that he has had in just a very short period of time that he's been there. It'll be a year, January 20th. So my question to my audience is, how did you feel about President Trump's speech last night? I want to hear it from you. I want to know your thoughts and your feelings. Did you feel it was victorious? Did you feel that he really told the American people what was really going on? Do you think he was full of BS? Do you think he hasn't accomplished anything? I want to know from you guys. I want to know your thoughts and your feelings. Again, we are the constituents. We're the people that voted President Trump in. We want results. So I want to know from my audience if you felt that you got results after that speech last night. Now turning into segment one. So segment one focuses on, quote, love is in the air, but also for those of you who don't know what it's like to be a first lady, which is the majority of this country, now you will get a taste. So there is a movie coming out called Melania, which is opening December 30th globally, nationwide and worldwide. Amazon actually bought the rights of the documentary for $40 million. This documentary gives you the inside scoop into Melania Trump before she became the first lady the second time. It's the 20 days before she became the first lady. It'll show you the thoughts of how she was thinking before the election. And it takes you to election night where President Trump wins. And it takes you all the way to the inauguration day and the inaugural evening. I had the pleasure of actually attending one of the inaugural balls. So I got to see her in that fabulous dress. And they show in the movie how the dress was decorated. It was decorated by a famous French designer. It's the same French designer that designed her first inaugural dress. And it also takes you into her thoughts and her feelings. As you know, she is all business now. She wears a lot of business suits. Her headshot shows her in a business suit, and she's all business. And she means business. And she's got proper people working behind her. She has a very small staff now for a reason. Because as you know, her former staff, like Stephanie Grisham, she turned on her. Stephanie Grisham turned on the first lady. Disgusting people. And they go on CNN now, and they're all Democrats now and rhinos, and they all attack the Trumps for no reason. Alyssa Farah, she worked for President Trump very briefly. He gave her a name, and then she turned on him, and now she's on The View and CNN. So these are pieces of crap. So Melania is telling you and showing you the day in the life of a first lady, the day in the life of the days before becoming the first lady, and how she's no nonsense, how she's a different first lady now than she was the first term, how she has all this experience, all of this maturity to tell you what is going on behind the scenes. And I think you guys should all see this. I recommend this movie to everyone. Let's put up the slide. So here it is. Melania Trump is behind the movie Melania, which is a movie that she has said will offer a better idea of what it is like for the First Lady to move into the White House for a second time. In the trailer, she tells Americans who have had times been mystified by her actions exactly how she wants to be seen. So this is her biography, her documentary, The Day in the Life of Melania Trump before she became First Lady the second time, up into becoming First Lady again. And she has an executive office, and it shows what she does in her office. It shows her with President Trump giving speeches and how she responds when he gives those speeches and so forth, and how her outfits are picked out. I mean, she's the most beautiful First Lady we've ever had. And this reminds me a lot of Jackie Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy did a lot of documentaries, Day in the Life of Being a First Lady, giving tours of the White House. And as we saw Melania Trump, she decorated the White House beautifully for Christmas and for Hanukkah. They had a beautiful Hanukkah celebration recently with Mark Levin and many others, and Laura Loomer and so forth. I mean, it was gorgeous how they decorated the White House. And it shows you class versus trash. We had trash with the Bidens, and now we have class back in the White House. And we want to keep that class as long as we can. But I encourage everybody, and I mean everybody, to go see this movie. It comes out December 30th, 2025. It will be great. It'll be a phenomenal documentary. And I hope that you all enjoy it. And I want to know your thoughts about it. I want to know your opinions on it. If you think that it really depicted the First Lady properly, if you think there were some things that could have been more emphasized, if you think that she held back on some stuff, I want to know. I mean, they have a trailer out. And the trailer is only snippets. The trailer only tells you a little bit, here and there. But I want to know from start to finish how you guys feel about this documentary, because it's really, really important. It really needs to be seen. Again, it's the day in the life of the First Lady. So going back to what I said, love is in the air. So a lot of people are getting engaged now right before the new year. I find it very interesting. I find it coincidental. I find it kind of funny. But it's a great feeling. I mean, President Trump, when he went into the White House the first time, more people were getting married, more people were having kids. And I encourage everybody to do that as a dating consultant. If you've been dating someone for 3, 6 months, a year, or years, don't wait. Don't waste that person's time. Don't waste your time. If you want to marry that person, marry them. If not, let them go. Or have a very, I don't want to say intense, but a very serious conversation with them, and just be like, hey, when I started dating you, I didn't really want to marry you. And I don't really want to marry you now. Or, hey, when I first started dating you, I didn't want to marry you, but now I'm thinking about marrying you and having kids. What do you think? So these are conversations that couples need to have. But as you know, Don Jr., he was married to Vanessa Trump. They have 5 beautiful children together. And as you know, his eldest daughter, Kai, is a golfer just like her father. And I think Vanessa Trump is now dating Tiger Woods. And then after they got divorced, Don Jr. ended up dating Kimberly Guilfoyle, and they got engaged. And then it didn't work out. And now she's the ambassador to Greece, and she's in Greece living it up. Well, in between his, breakup with Kimberly Guilfoyle, he met this renowned model named Bettina. And she's, younger than him. She's around 38 years old. And her family is a very well-to-do family as well. I think her family are like millionaires. And he's been dating her for a year, and he decided to announce in front of everyone that he got engaged to her. Let's put up the slide. So Donald Trump, breaking news, big family news from the White House. President Trump just announced that Donald Trump Jr. and Bettina Anderson are officially engaged and getting married. Donald Trump Jr. said, not often that I'm at a loss for words, because we usually do the ranting and raving really well, but this is a little different. But I just want to wish all of you guys an incredible holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, and to thank Bettina for that one word. Yes. It's always, when you go down there and it's like, you're going to go down and you're trying to ask, you're not sure what the other person's going to say. It's always been a little bit rough, but she said yes. So that's a big win for the end of the year. Would you like to say something, Bettina? Then Bettina took the mic and she goes, wow, what a privilege it is to be here in the White House. Mr. President, thank you so much for hosting this incredible party. And to our First Lady, these decorations, am I right? Are they unbelievable? This has really been the most unforgettable weekend of my life, and I get to marry the love of my life. And I feel just like the luckiest girl in the world. So thank you. And thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you. And it's really interesting to see the comments. A lot of people didn't even know that Don Jr. was dating someone else. That people thought he was still with Kimberly Guilfoyle. And I don't really keep up with, celebrity relationships and so forth, but Don Jr. is a little bit different because he's the president's son. And I know a lot of people would love to see him get married again. A lot of people were upset that he did get divorced from Vanessa. I think there was a lot of issues in their marriage in terms of him not being home. And I know there was an incident where she got some type of white powder. I think it was a form of anthrax that was sent to her in an envelope at her home. And she had enough at that point. She's like, I did not sign up for this. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Like, this is not the life that I signed up to be a part of. And I know that there was some infidelity during some of the years that they were married. When Don Jr. was on Apprentice and Celebrity Apprentice, there was reports of him having an affair with one of the celebrity apprentices. So that kind of sparked a few issues in their marriage. And of course, they grew out of that. They talked it out. They worked it out. But I think Vanessa Trump, in my opinion, just had enough. She had enough of the limelight. She had enough of her husband not being home. And she just had enough of the whole political limelight. But she is still very close to President Trump, to the family, and they co-parent, very well. Don Jr. and her co-parent very well. And maybe Don Jr. wants to have more kids. Bettina's young enough. She's 38. They can definitely have more children. So, obviously that's something that will be between them. But everybody wants to see somebody happy. And we all wish Don Jr. and Bettina the very best. And, my question to you guys, do you think this is a good match? Do you think he should have stayed with Kimberly Guilfoyle? Do you think that Don Jr. shouldn't get married at all? Do you think that maybe he should have just kept dating this girl? Do you think he is going to get married? Because I don't know if they set a date. And that's one thing that I talk about in my consulting is when you propose to someone, you set a date. The woman should actually set the date because the guys don't know. They're like, I'm engaged. I could wait, 5 months, 2 years, whatever. But the girl usually sets the date after they're engaged. And then the date is set and then it's solidified and then you don't have to worry about it. So my question to my audience is, are they going to set a date? Are they going to be engaged for a while? Are they going to get married right away? Maybe Don Jr. wants to get married in the White House. That would be nice. That'd be beautiful. A beautiful White House wedding. I think that'd be gorgeous. Or maybe they'll get married at Mar-a-Lago. You never know. But I did start to see Bettina around a lot. She was actually sitting behind Don Jr. at the RNC convention. And she would come to Mar-a-Lago a lot. And this is when, him and Kim were still close. They were still kind of dating. But there was, some issues between them. And I read that Don Jr. and Kimberly had a huge argument at Mar-a-Lago and everybody saw it. And that's embarrassing. The guy's the president's son and, you're, causing a fight or causing a brouhaha right in front of everybody at Mar-a-Lago. Like that, you take your argument outside. You take that somewhere else. You don't do that in front of the public and the public eye because there's cameras and press all over the place. So I think that was the final straw. And maybe they broke up over irreconcilable differences, but I give President Trump a lot of credit here because instead of Kim and Don Jr. breaking up and we never hear or see Kim again, he said, look, the girl's been working for me. She's been loyal to me. She helped me campaign. She raised a lot of money for me because that's what she and Don would do. They would just travel all over the country and she clung to him like the hip. I mean, she stuck to him like glue. They traveled all over the country together. Promoting candidates, raising money for them. I mean, they were huge fundraisers together. I mean, they were a huge fundraising team together and they did huge fundraisers for these candidates. And, all of a sudden, they've broken up. So the president's like, okay, I gotta give her something. Like, I can't just say goodbye. So he gave her the ambassadorship to Greece. So now she's in Greece, Athens, living it up, living it up. And I heard she's doing a great job over there. She finally got sworn in. It took forever for her to get sworn in. And I heard she's doing a great job. And Kimberly, she's a nice looking woman. She'll find a guy. She probably already has 50 million Greek men that she's dating already. I mean, there's no problem with her finding someone. No problem for Don Jr. to find someone either. It's Don Jr. But we do wish Don Jr. the best. I hope that he does marry Bettina. I hope they do have children. And I hope they have a good marriage and live a good life. And I hope that Kimberly finds someone too and marries them and has a good life. That's all we can ask for in this world. But there's someone else that really surprised me and baffled me. And a lot of people say I look like her. A lot of people say I act like her because she's an investigative reporter like I am. I'll be honest, she has more experience in investigative reporting than I do because she's been doing it a lot longer than me. But it's Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer is a big advocate for the Jewish people. She supports Israel. She combats anti-Semitism all the time. She was at the White House. She actually has Pentagon credentials now. So she's at the Pentagon now reporting and asking questions to the spokesperson for the Pentagon. And let's put up this slide because President Trump announced this at the Hanukkah party. Laura Loomer, she said, it was an honor to be recognized by President Trump at the White House Christmas party. It is an even bigger honor that the President of the United States, Ed POTUS, just scooped me on publicly, announcing my own engagement to the world from the White House. I'm very excited to be getting married, and I'm thrilled that the greatest president ever approves of the greatest man in my life. Thank you, President Trump. And, when he announced it, he was like, you're getting married, right? And she was like, I guess, I just found out myself, and, she didn't know. And she didn't know when she was getting married. She didn't set a date, and her fiance wasn't there. There's actually a picture she put up on her X account of her ring with a guy, and his face wasn't showing. So a lot of people question if she is really engaged. I had no idea that she was dating anybody. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let me tell you something. People like myself, people like Laura Loomer and others were public figures. People like Candace Owens, Erica Kirk, we're big public figures. If we don't want to, reveal to the world who we're dating or who we're marrying, that's our right. And we do that out of protection for our mate. We do that out of safety and security for ourselves. I'm going to have a very religious wedding, and it has to be private. It has to be very private. And when, and security has to be there. Security has to be there. For any, if I do a religious wedding, if I do a reform wedding, a conservative wedding, security has to be there. Security must be there. And I will never tell anyone where it's at. I will never tell anyone the date. And I'm not going to, reveal to the world, anything about my personal life because I am a public figure. So kudos to Laura Loomer. If she doesn't want to tell everyone who she's marrying, who she's dating, kudos to her. And she probably didn't want the world to know she was engaged either. Because then people are going to ask, well, who's your fiance? What's his name? What does he do? How old is he? Yada, yada. Then they look him up. Then you got stalkers and you got people after you. I mean, it's some serious business. Some very serious business. So you want to, there's nothing wrong with her keeping it private. There's nothing wrong with any one of us keeping our relationships private. I mean, Charlie Kirk, he didn't really tell everyone he was marrying Erica Kirk. No one really knew he had a girlfriend for like a long time. And then they waited till after their first child was born to tell people that she was even pregnant. And it's because of the stress. When you're pregnant or you're a high pregnancy woman, like age 35 and above, and you're pregnant, and everybody knows that you're pregnant, that can cause a lot of stress, or people are talking bad about you, or they're wishing ill of you and your unborn child. It can cause a lot of stress for the mother, and she could lose her child and have miscarriages, and she could have stillborns and God knows what. So it's very important, guys, that you understand that. It's very important that there's nothing wrong with, quote, keeping something or hiding something from the public. We do it out of safety and security reasons. Again, if I want to reveal something, that's my right. If Laura Loomer wants to reveal who she's marrying, that's her right too. But don't pressure us. Don't question us. And don't be mad if you're not invited either. There's reasons why. It's all for safety and security reasons. And we will reveal who we're marrying and so forth when we feel like we want to do it, when the time is right. But don't pressure us. And if we don't want to reveal that we're pregnant, that's our right too. We do it out of safety and security for ourselves. And I hope that everybody understands that, especially after Charlie Kirk. It's really not good to like tell the whole world where you live, who you're marrying, who you're dating, this and that, where you're getting married, the date. It's nowadays, it's not safe. So if somebody wants to keep their relationship private, there's nothing wrong with that. Kudos to Laura Loomer. And when she reveals who she's marrying, I support her. I support who she's marrying. I support him for marrying her. To marry Laura Loomer, you have to be pretty special. And you have to really support what she does and really care about what she does. Because as you know, she's out there and she doesn't hold back. But I encourage everybody else to get married, to have children. Again, if you've been dating somebody for a long time, what's the holdup? That should be your New Year's resolution. Get married and have kids. And Dan Scavino Jr., as you know, he got engaged to Erin Elmore. They've been dating for a while. We don't know when they're getting married. I hope she set the date, because men don't set dates. Women set the dates. Men will never set a date. They'll just show up. Women set the date. Men will show up, and that's it. That's how it should be. Or if you want to just get married at the courthouse, you can do that too. Or get married in your backyard. I don't care. But set the date. Don't get engaged and then be engaged for a year or two. Because I'm telling you, that's how you get cold feet. That's how it never happens. And something happens. It's like, when you know, you know. If you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to get married, then don't propose. If you're just getting married, or if you're just proposing so you lock that person, you just put a ring on their finger, that's not nice, and that's not good either. But please, guys, that should be your New Year's resolution. Get married and have kids. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting other people's time. I know people are concerned about finances and this and that. Let me tell you something. One day you could be broke and the next minute you be rich. One day you could be rich and the next minute you can be broke. It's a flip of a coin. Roll of the dice. You can't let all of these setbacks stop you from finding true love. And yes, it is important to have safety and security. I agree with that. But jobs are very available now. There's many, many ways to make money nowadays. There's many ways. Don't feel like you can't make money, and don't be so picky with a job. You get something and then it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger the more that you do it, or start your own business. And that takes a lot of time too, and a lot of money and a lot of effort. But if you put effort into it every single day, you will be successful. Don't give up. The first year of owning your own business is the hardest. It takes about 2 or 3 years to really get your business going. But seriously, guys, no more excuses. No more excuses. So before our break, don't forget my affiliate sponsor, rncstore.com/ALL. This is great for the holidays. If you're trying to take off that Thanksgiving dinner, that Hanukkah latke, that Christmas ham that you're about to eat, this is great for losing weight and also boosting your immune system. If you have cancer, this prevents against cancer. This helps people with stage 4 cancer. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. ALL is the discount code. This is used nationwide and worldwide. So if you live in Israel, Australia, India, Sweden, you can use this link, rncstore.com/ALL. It will be shipped to you. Just use the discount code. If you don't use the discount code, if you don't use the discount code, you won't get the discount. So please, guys, use the discount code ALL, and you will get so much for your money. So please, guys, don't forget John Richardson Nutritional Center. And we'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm Alexandra Levine, live with the America's Pulse Network. You are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our network. We are on YouTube, Rumble, X, Truth Social, TikTok, Instagram. We're on like 6 platforms at americaspulse.com. You can like and subscribe throughout the evening. I just want to say thank you to all of my I say guests, but all of my loyal friends that have been commenting all night. To Donald Willinger, to Jorge Finkelman. Thank you guys so much for spending your Hanukkah and your holidays with me. And just to read some of the comments, Oh, he said, so Don Bongino said, obviously Don Jr. never met you. Actually, Don Jr. did meet me. I met him a couple times. I met him at Trump Hotel in DC for the signing of his book. And I met him again at Mar-a-Lago, and he's met my sister and met one of my sister's really good friends. So I did meet Don Jr. And, I thought he was very nice, very, very nice. And I met Eric Trump. I've met Laura Trump. I haven't met Ivanka and Jared yet. Those are two people I really want to meet. I've heard Jared on the phone, but I've never met him in person. And I've never met Barron in person. I would love to meet Barron in person. I heard he's such a sweet young man, and such a mature young man. But the whole Trump family, the president has raised such wonderful children. And you compared their children to Joe Biden's children and Bill Clinton's children and so forth. The Trump kids are just very well behaved, respected. They're classy. They have created enterprises on their own, and they've been able to continue their enterprises. So they are, great people to emulate and great people to look up to. And when they come to speak at events, they don't charge, which is really nice. They come for free and they don't expect anything in return. They're just very giving people, very, very, very giving people. And, I appreciate everything that the Trumps do. And yeah. Oh, Don Jr. will be okay. I guess it will be stable. Yeah, like I said, I hope it will be stable. I hope that he will have a stable marriage, and I hope that he will have, more children if he wants. And, like I said, we pray for him. We pray for anybody that goes into marriage. Marriage is a big thing. Marriage is a big thing. It's a big step. You're joining together as one. It's you, your husband, and hopefully children. And that's why I think a lot of people get cold feet. And they get scared. Oh my God, I'm giving up my independence. Oh my God, I'm giving up this, I'm giving up that. But you're gaining so much. You're gaining a husband or a wife. You're gaining a family. Marriage is a beautiful, wonderful thing. That's what Hashem wants for all of us. That's what Jesus wants for all of us. He wants us to get married and have kids. It's all about that. It's about a family. It's about a foundation. And speaking of someone who has a great family, Dan Bongino, let's put up the first slide. So Dan Bongino, I've met him many times. He's got a wonderful, gorgeous wife and children. So he decided he's going to leave his position with the FBI in January. He wants to thank President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, he wants to thank us, his fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. And my question to my audience is, are you okay with Dan Bongino leaving the Bureau? There was I think 4 months ago, he did an interview with Fox News, and he talked about how he hasn't seen his wife. He is just in these four walls. Cash comes in very early, and he's there very early, and he doesn't really eat and doesn't really sleep, and he misses his wife. His children are in Florida, and he took a significant pay cut by becoming the deputy FBI director. So now he's going back on his show, the Dan Bongino Show. He's going to probably make more money than he had before, and he's going to go back to making that income. And I think that was the biggest issue, is their income. They had a beautiful income when he was on the show. Then he took a significant pay cut, and it hurts the family, especially if you own a ginormous house. If you own a $1 million house plus, and you have massive property taxes. Yeah, it can really hurt. It can really hurt your marriage and hurt your family life. So, I give Dan Bongino a lot of credit for going into the Bureau. People are speculating that he saw things maybe he was hoping not to see, some pretty heinous things. Maybe he was just disgusted by what was going on. Kash Patel and him went in there to do a job, to clean up the FBI. And there's so many things that need to be done. And people are saying maybe Dan Bongino's pissed that nobody's been prosecuted. There was speculation that he had issues with Pam Bondi, that he was upset at the job that she was doing. And then those speculations were debunked. So we don't really know what went on behind the scenes. So there's only so much that Dan can say. When you go into bureaus, you basically sign your life away. You're sworn to secrecy. There's a lot of things that you can't reveal because it's classified or whatever. But I know his first show is going to be huge. Everybody's going to listen because everybody's going to want to know what happened and what's going on in the Bureau. And is anything going to happen? Are arrests going to be made? So we'll see what he can reveal and what he can tell. But don't crap on Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino was asked to do a job, and he did it. And maybe he didn't completely finish it, but There is always reasons why he's going back into the private sector, and he's going to be a private citizen. Look, my father worked for the Bureau. My father worked for the FBI, DOJ Criminal Division. He didn't work there that long. He only worked a couple of years. And he saw a lot of the crap, a lot of the corruption that's going on today. I think that's one of the reasons why he left. He also wanted to get into the private sector. You make more money in the private sector. He didn't want to be told what to do. He didn't want to be beholden to anyone. He wanted a life. He wanted a life. And thank God he left, because then he met my mother a year later, got married, and had my sister and I. So everything happens for a reason. And my father is more successful being in the private sector, owning his own businesses, than if he were to stay in the Bureau. I mean, you have to stay in the Bureau for 20 to 30 years to really make anything. I mean, that's sad. And a lot of people get burnt out working in these positions. They really do. But don't call Bongino a failure. Don't say that he failed. At least he was there. He tried. But I think the job was just, it took up a lot of his family life. And like I said, maybe, I don't want to say the job was too hard for him, but maybe the job itself was just hard. And like I said, we don't know. We weren't there. We have no idea. No idea what went on there. I agree with Donald Willinger. Pam Bondi is a perfectionist. She won't take chances. You either have the evidence or you don't. She's an excellent attorney. I know a lot of people crap on her, but she was my Florida Attorney General. She combated a lot of crime in Florida. We didn't have illegal immigration in Florida. We didn't have illegals crossing the border. I mean, she really cracked down on crime. She really did a good job as the Florida Attorney General. And then she passed the torch to Ashley Moody, who's now one of my senators in Florida. And she cracks down on crime too. And Pam Bondi worked with Rick Scott, who's my other senator, because Rick Scott was the governor at the time when Pam Bondi was the Attorney General of Florida. I mean, Pam Bondi is no nonsense. I know a lot of people are wishing that she arrested people. I know they think she's not doing a great job. But again, it's President Trump's decision to decide if he wants to keep her or not. If he doesn't feel she's doing the job, he will fire her. It's not our decision to decide if President Trump should get rid of her or not. We don't make those decisions with his cabinet. We don't. But again, if you're MAGA, if you're real MAGA, real America first, you cannot turn on President Trump. You must really listen to him, really understand him, and understand that he's doing good for the country. I know there's some people that don't like what he writes or what he says, but we elected him based on that. We elected him because he is the change agent, and he wasn't the same politician lying to us every single day. He doesn't sugarcoat things. That's why I love him. I love that he speaks his mind. I really do. So please, guys, please understand that everything is happening for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And instead of just jumping on every little thing, take a step back, count to 10, and think logically. Because when we think with emotion, it doesn't go our way. You have to think logically. That's the problem with Democrats. They're too damn emotional. And rhinos are emotional too. We as Republicans, we need to be strong, and we need to think logically and unemotionally. And that's very, very, very important. Very important. And speaking of emotions, so there's this poll that came out in Ohio. As you know, Vivek Ramaswamy is running for governor there. Let's put up that slide. So this came out by Patriot One News. This is Emerson. Emerson poll is very liberal, by the way. And they're stating that this woman, Amy Acton, who I have no idea who the hell she is, that she's up 1. She's up +1 against Ramaswamy. They said he was recently up 10. The Senate poll is showing that John Huston, who was put in and appointed by J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance was the senator, that he's only up by 3. Now, I know the state of Ohio. I have a lot of friends that live in Ohio. It's a very red state. President Trump won Ohio whole-handedly in 2016 and 2020 and 2024. So the fact that Vivek is a point down, that he was up 10 and now he's down a point, and John Hudson's only 3 points up, I don't believe this poll at all. I believe that Vivek is going to wholeheartedly win the primary. We all know this. And he's going to kick this woman's behind. He will be the next governor of Ohio. That's why President Trump told him to run for the governorship of Ohio. There was issues with him and Doge, and he was kind of like combating Trump's base a little bit with the H-1B visas. So Susan Wiles was like, we can't have this Vivek. Like, you're pissing off Trump's base. Maybe you should like step away from Doge and do something else. So Vivek is like, okay, what am I going to do to stay relevant? So President Trump's like, why don't you run for governor? Because the governor they have in Ohio, DeWine, is a huge rhino, and we need someone who will support my agenda and a governor that I can work with. And Vivek is very good with the youth, very good with the youth, and with technology, and with artificial intelligence, and creating a monoclonal antibody treatment that help people with COVID. So Vivek is perfect for Ohio. A lot of people are nervous because he's a minority. He's Indian. His family's from India. Do we want that as governor of Ohio? But Ohio is very diverse. Ohio has a lot of Christians and Indians and Haitians and Jews. It's a very diverse state. So I think, in my opinion, Vivek would serve very well as the governor of Ohio. And I've been to Ohio many times. I was on Capitol Hill. I met with John Hudson and Bernie Moreno, and I met with Max Miller, who's a congressman in Ohio, in Cleveland. I see the type of people that they elect in Ohio. They want a strong, young guy. They want a strong, powerful man who's young and fresh, who has fresh ideas. That's why I believe that Vivek will be the next governor of Ohio. So I don't believe these polls. I mean, again, all the Democrats do is cheat. They rig elections all the time to get ahead. You know, we all know this. But I feel Ohio, and I know they've perfected their election integrity system. And as you know, I've interviewed 2 people running for Ohio Secretary of State, Marcel Sturbeck and I think Robert Sprague, who's the Ohio treasurer. They're both running for the same seat. Their biggest focus is election integrity. Making sure it's only paper ballots. And what we're hoping is that Congress codifies President Trump's executive order to only do paper ballots, have elections on the day, get rid of the damn machines, get rid of early voting. Let's see if Congress will do that. I don't have faith that they will do that, but we'll see. We'll see if they will do that. It would be nice if they did, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. But that's the only way we can have free and fair elections, if we get rid of the machines and do paper ballots and have elections on one day and one day only, and count all the ballots and be done with it. None of these mail-in ballots, paper ballots. Mail-in ballots, paper ballots are fine. None of these mail-in ballots. None of this crap. Paper ballots are easy to count. I've counted them before. Let's just get it right this time, guys. Don't let the Democrats take all these seats from us. The midterms are so important this time. Gubernatorial races are on the line. Municipality races are on the line. State delegate, state senator, local races are on the line. And Congress is on the line. House of Representatives is on the line every 2 years. Even though President Trump isn't on the ballot, we must pretend like he is. He's going to North Carolina tomorrow to campaign. He's going to be traveling all over this country for the next half a year to get the right people in office. And he's going to put a lot of money into their campaigns too. And let's put up this next slide. This is what's going on in Maryland. What's going on in Dundalk, Maryland. Our friend Tim Fazenbaker, he put this out. He said, breaking. The Senate overrode the governor's veto and passed SB 587, officially establishing the Maryland Reparations Commission. So, well, Governor Westmore is really all about reparations, but he was like, if I sign this into law, it's not going to look good because I want to run for president. And he's also up for re-election. So he vetoed the bill. Then the General Assembly got together and got rid of the veto. The Senate got together and got rid of the veto and pushed a Maryland Reparations Committee. And now Westmore's so happy because he's forming a reparations commission right now. He's actually putting curriculum in school so the kids know what reparations is. And that Black people and only Black people get reparations. I mean, this is insanity. And see that guy next to Westmore? His name is J.D. Urbach. He supports Governor Westmore's policies. He's a Rhino/Democrat. I'll get into him later in segment 3. But he stands by Westmore and his policies. He stands with a reparations commission. I don't understand this. And what did Maryland do? They just elected, or I should say appointed, a Black Hispanic woman as the Speaker of the House in Maryland. God forbid it was a white man or a white woman. Nope, it's got to be a minority. It's got to be a DEI hire. That's what they do in Maryland. DEI hires. Governor Westmore is a DEI governor. So is Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore City. He's a DEI hire. Calls himself a DEI leader. They have a DEI attorney general and a bunch of other DEI hires in there. Disgusting. The people of New York, they just elected a DEI mayor of New York City, and all of his cabinet members are all DEI people. Transgenders, homosexuals, anti-Semites. That's a part of Zohran Mamdani's cabinet. That's why the elections are so important. We were supposed to have this guy, Kurt Verniken, who's running for governor of Maryland. Unfortunately, due to the holidays, he will be coming live with us in the new year. So stay tuned for that interview. That'll be great. As you know, I've been also interviewed John Myrick and Brenda Cham. They're also running for governor of Maryland, and Brenda Cham is John Myrick's lieutenant governor. And Ed Hill Jr. is also running for governor of Maryland as well. He was a Democrat and flipped Republican. But the MD GOP said they're not going to invest any money into the gubernatorial race because they know. They know. Because a lot of them are rhinos in the MD GOP. A lot of them work with the Democrats. A lot of them work to put Westmore in. They don't care if they lose the governorship. They don't care. They feel Westmore is going to get reelected. That's it. There's nobody else that's running that can beat Westmore. But that's their fault. The job of the MD GOP, the central committees, and the RNC is to find viable candidates. Candidates that support the America First agenda. Candidates that support Marylanders. Now, it's funny, for 10 years, you couldn't say Trump's name in Maryland. Trump wins in 2024, and all of a sudden the central committees are praising Trump. Now they're saying his name loudly and proudly. But then why are they trying to put rhinos in America First and MAGA districts? Why are they pushing rhinos in very hardcore Republican districts? We'll get into that in segment 3. But what bothers me is that if Governor Westmore wins again, it's the MD GOP's fault, it's the RNC's fault, it's the Central Committee's fault. Because they did not go out and find, in their opinion, viable candidates. Or they didn't support the candidates that are already in the ring, that have already filed. They can't endorse them before the primary, even though some have, quote, endorsed them but didn't endorse them. Like one guy said, I'm a Central Committee member. I can't endorse, but I wish I could. And if I could endorse, this is who I'm endorsing. And thank you to my friend who's running for this. I can't endorse him, but I'm so happy that my friend is running. And I, quote, endorse him. It's like an endorsement without an endorsement. And then there's a lady who's a second vice chair of the MD GOP. She pulled the same crap. And she said, I'm so happy for my friend who's running for this race. I just want to let you know, I'm saying this as an individual, not as a Central Committee member or someone a part of the MD GOP. Well, your personal is your personal, Your MD GOP account is your MD GOP account. You can separate the two. You can have a personal that's just for personal and an MD GOP account just for MD GOP stuff. What you did is you made your personal your MD GOP account. Same thing with the guy. So they continue to break the bylaws and nothing happens to these people because it's Maryland. And the Republicans always lose in Maryland because they don't stick together and they work against the Republicans running and they work for the Democrat. They work with the Rhino Larry Hogan. And Larry Hogan actually helped Westmore get elected. So Larry Hogan's doing everything he can to have Westmore reelected and to have his rhinos in place. Now, we still don't know if Larry's going to run for governor or not. I don't think he is. But he is working behind the scenes and pushing his minions to do his dirty work like he always does because he's a dirty man. A lot of people say he's evil. He's like Dr. Evil. He really is. He really is. And we need to ask ourselves, guys, we need to ask ourselves, are we going to allow the 2026 midterms to be taken over by Democrats? Are we actually going to do something about it? And we'll talk about that in segment 3. But just before we break, don't forget to go to foliumpx.com. This is toxic heavy metals, full body detox. As you know, I'm in the process of losing weight. I've lost weight before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, pre-Hanukkah, after Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's. I got a dress to get into New Year's Eve. So I'm going to take this full body detox and I'm going to really just lose that weight, get rid of that water weight. And also I'm upping my peptide count. The more peptides you use in your body, the better it is. Collagen is huge. I take collagen all the time. I was told that I need to increase my collagen today, actually. So all these collagen peptides that I have, I'm doubling the dose because I want to lose weight and I want to feel great. And I don't want to have to worry when I step into a dress that it's going to fit or not. So guys, go to foliumpx.com. That is my QR code. You get the code, you get a discount code. Please, guys, take care of your bodies because we only get one life to live. So stay with us, guys. Coming up after the break, we're going to discuss some of the elections coming on in 2026. You won't want to miss this segment. Stay with us.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
So thanks everybody for tuning in with me. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe at America's Pulse Network. We are on Rumble. We are on YouTube, True Social, TikTok, Instagram, X. We're on like 6 or 7 platforms now, and we just keep growing week after week after week. So thank you guys for sticking with us. Just want to remind the audience that the House of Representatives, they passed the Protect Children's Innocence Act with a vote of 216 to 11. What this ensures is that children are not allowed to get transgender surgeries without parental consent or transgender surgeries, period, because it is illegal. As you know, in the state of Minnesota, they passed it. It was an executive order by Tim Walz saying that children, even as close to the age of 3, can have transgender surgeries without parental consent. It's disgusting. So the House of Representatives, they passed the Protect Children's Innocence Act. And I call it any Democrat that voted against this bill, because that means that you support transgender surgeries for minors. You support transgenderism, you support this mental illness, and you support these crazies and these crazy parents that are pushing this onto their children. So thank you to Congress, the House of Representatives, the Republicans for passing this tonight. So let's go into our first slide, talking about Kamala Harris. As you know, they keep bringing her up, saying that she is a, quote, historic figure in America. Do we all agree with that? I don't think so. She's not a historic figure at all. She's actually quite disgusting. But for some reason, people are thinking she's a force to be reckoned with. And all of a sudden, they're pushing her. The Democrat Party is pushing her to run again for the presidency for 2028 with Pete Buttigieg. Then some people are saying that Pete Buttigieg, who's gay and the worst mayor in South Bend, Indiana, would be a great president because he's young and fresh. He's got a family. I mean, this is the best that the Democrat Party has to offer. Then people said that Gavin Newsom and Pete Buttigieg would be a good ticket together. Gavin Newsom, he's the worst governor ever, and he has ruined his state to the point that massive amounts of people have fled. Hardcore liberals have fled California and have moved to Tennessee and Texas and Florida because they've had enough of the high taxes. And the fact that Gavin Newsom puts illegals first before legal citizens of his state. I mean, the guy is a complete fraud. I mean, look what he did with the Palisades, with the fires there. I mean, the guy is a complete scumbag. And you got Nancy Pelosi there and Adam Shifty Schiff and all these horrible people in California. Why would Gavin Newsom even be considered a contender? Why would Kamala Harris be considered a contender? She's crazy. Question to my audience. Do you think that Kamala Harris should run for president again? Do you think all of a sudden she's going to change? She's going to be better? They're thinking maybe she'll pick a better running mate this time because the running mate she picked was garbage. Her running mate was so bad that his family endorsed President Trump and voted for President Trump. It's hysterical. And the reason she didn't pick Josh Shapiro is because he's Jewish. Josh Shapiro would have been better than Tim Walz. He's more of a moderate. He's not as hardcore liberal and weird and messed up as Tim Walz. Yeah, I agree with Jorge here. Kamala is historically deplorable and repulsive. I agree. It's really sick and sad that this is what it's come to. Another Kamala Harris run. Remember, Barack Hussein Obama didn't want to endorse her. Joe Biden actually ruined everything. If Joe Biden didn't come out and endorse her, she probably wouldn't have run for president. But Joe Biden opened his mouth and said, I endorse Kamala Harris as my predecessor. Barack Obama had no choice but to endorse her. But let me tell you something. Kamala Harris was not Barack Obama's choice, and she was not the majority of the American people's choice. And she keeps lying to everyone and says that she barely lost, that it was the closest election ever. I don't think so. I saw it. We all saw it. It wasn't even close. And it was funny. She was on Jimmy Kimmel the other night, and Jimmy Kimmel said to her after the election, have you and Doug, which is her husband, have you been drinking? So she kind of laughed a little bit, and she admitted that she has been drinking, and she's been on the quote campaign trail. She's shown her face a few times, and she sounds like a drunk, and she looks drunk. And she was drunk on the campaign trail too. And reports said that she was horrible to her staff. That's why a lot of her staff left. They quit when she was VP. It's really sad that the only viable candidate for president on the Democrat side is Kamala Harris. Again, that's really pathetic. Really pathetic. And now let's go to the second slide. So this guy, Ken Anderson, is actually running for State Delegate District 38A. Now, the districts have been changed. There's been a huge redistricting happening in Maryland. So please, guys, double check where you live because the districts have changed. So Kevin Anderson, he's the newest member of the Maryland House of Delegates Republican Caucus. He's a farmer, businessman, and highly regarded leader in the Maryland agriculture industry. He's filed the seat representing District 38A, left behind by the passing of the late Delegate Charles Otto. So we need to look out for him. We need to see what he's all about, heavily vet him, heavily see what he has passed, what he supports. Because again, there's a lot of rhinos in the Maryland Republican Party, in the MD GOP as well. And as you know, I'm very heavily involved in Maryland politics. So I can tell you who are the rhinos and who are the good guys. So let's put up the next image of someone who you know. That's my good friend and colleague, Tim Fazenmaker. Tim Fazenmaker is running for Baltimore County Council District 9. That is a completely new district. That is Tim's district. It's his to win. It's his base. It's Sparrows Point, it's Dundalk, and it's Edgemere. These are the same people that voted for Tim for the Central Committee. Tim got the highest votes out of the 8 other people that ran for that Central Committee seat in his district, District 7. So Tim is up for re-election in the Central Committee, but he is running for higher office. And he was there Monday night testifying against Itzi Patoga's horrible bills, which push for illegals to be protected more than legal citizens of Baltimore County. Tim will not stand for illegal criminals and illegal aliens getting rights and getting more rights than legal citizens of his district. He will not stand for illegals having health care. He will not stand for illegals getting job over illegals. There's people in Dundalk that are suffering because they don't have a job. And Tim has been working with TradePoint Atlantic to push TradePoint Atlantic to offer jobs to the people of Dundalk, which they will be doing. They're opening up major artificial intelligence factories. And Tim has been a big proponent of pushing vocational schools. So when those kids get out of those vocational schools, guess what? They'll have a job. They'll be working at TradePoint Atlantic in those artificial intelligence factories. Also, TradePoint Atlantic has expanded, and they're opening up a department for people to become firefighters and policemen and cops. And that's important too. Thank you, TradePoint Atlantic, for doing that. They're having a whole academy dedicated to young people who want to serve, who want to be a cop, a firefighter, first responder, etc. Kudos to them. They are building a TradePoint every single day, and they're bringing jobs back to this country, and they're getting American steel, which is the best. Let's put up the second image. So the second image actually shows the proof that Tim Fazenmaker was there, how he got up to testify, and he was actually interviewed by a TV guy from WBAL, which is a local news station in Baltimore, but they are syndicated nationwide as well. And it was great to hear Tim's testimony, and he got a lot of applause for it. And what did Itzi Patoga say, who's running for Baltimore County Executive? We welcome these illegals with arms of love. This is not a hate issue. We love them all. Again, we don't have problems with immigration. The problem is when these people come into our country, they come here illegally, and they do not care about becoming legal citizens. They don't assimilate to American life. They don't learn the language. They just live off the system for 25 years plus. And they wonder why they're getting taken from their homes. And then a lot of these people are criminals. They're sex traffickers, drug traffickers, human traffickers. They come across our border and they kill innocent children and innocent young adults like Rachel Morin and Tammy Nobles' daughter and many others, and Kate Steinle in California and many others. I mean, the stories and the list go on and on. President Trump cares about the citizens of our country. Tim Fazenmaker cares about the citizens of his district and all of Maryland. And that's the type of person that you need in leadership. Not rhinos, not Democrats. That is not what we want. And again, Tim is running in the most MAGA America First district. But what are the rhinos doing? They're pushing this rhino/Democrat who's a Pete Buttigieg supporter, who's been endorsed by all the rhinos in Maryland, who hates President Trump, who said that President Trump and Pete Hegseth were murderers, and they shouldn't have gone against the narco terrorists, that they should have allowed the narco terrorists into our country, that Pete Hegseth doesn't know what he's doing, even though he's a military guy. And this guy who's running against him, he supports illegals having health care. He supports reparations. He supports Chris Van Hollen, Governor Westmore, and Johnny Oshefsky. These are all hardcore Democrats, socialist Democrats. And he vehemently hates Trump. He supported everything Mitt Romney said about Trump. He supports Liz Cheney. He supports Mark Milley, and the list goes on and on. We have the proof. I don't know why this guy decided to run against him, but actually this is perfect because it's Rhino versus MAGA. Rhino versus America First. Establishment versus America First. And I know the people at Dundalk do not want a Rhino representing them. They want a person that stands with them and listens to them. That's why it's really important that you guys put Tim Fazenmaker in there, vote him in, elect him to a higher office, let him take care of you. Let him listen to your wants and needs, because he will, and he'll respond right away. without hesitation. He's a great guy. I've had the pleasure of working with him for 6 years, and I will continue working with him because he's been consistent on message, and he doesn't stray away from his hardcore beliefs or principles. He also believes that you have the God-given right to do whatever you want with your life, provided you do not take the right away from another. Which a lot of people support. But there's other controversy going on in Maryland with the County Council seat 6, which Nino Maggione is running for. He's a incumbent state delegate, so he's giving up his seat. He's working with this guy, Kevin Ford. And this guy, Chris West, who's retiring, he just endorsed a huge rhino, Adam Wood, who was the former executive director of the MDGOP. Now, Chris West originally was friends with Nino, but he turned on Nino. Nino's very Republican. Nino votes very Republican, very conservative. But he crapped on Nino because he said Nino hasn't sponsored any bills. He hasn't said anything about the environment. So Chris West has endorsed Adam Wood. And I heard that the party is going to pump $50,000 into Adam Wood, which is unusual considering this is a very hardcore Republican seat. Why is the rhino establishment pushing so hard to get all these rhinos in? What is their end game? They just love to lose. I pray that the people of Maryland wake up and realize that you're getting screwed by the party and screwed by your elected officials. You have elected officials in the state Senate and the delegation that don't give a crap about you. And they're going to push their guy through because they hate Donald Trump. It's really all about the hatred for Donald Trump. Chris West vehemently hates Donald Trump. Adam Wood doesn't like Donald Trump either. Nicolai Ambrose, is the RNC committee chairwoman, hates Donald Trump. There's a lot of people in the MDGOP that hate Donald Trump. And there's a lot of state delegates and state senators in Maryland that hate Donald Trump too. Republicans, by the way, that hate Donald Trump. They will not stand with the head of their party. And Donald Trump knows all about this. He's been made aware and known. Caroline Leavitt knows this too. And President Trump is looking at all these local races, and he knows the districts, and he knows who's MAGA and who's not. So when these rhinos try to push a rhino into an America First MAGA district, it's not going to work. It's not going to fly. I won't allow it. Tim won't allow it. Trump administration's not going to allow it. Because we need to expand the MAGA base. We need to expand the America First base, and we have to have America First MAGA people in these positions of power. We cannot have seats flip anymore to D. And we can't have rhinos involved anymore because they don't do anything. And they ruin the district and they ruin the state. So if you are in the Baltimore County area, Mr. Fazenmaker is having a big event. We'll put up that flyer right now with a very special guest, Newsmax commentator, Rob Carson. If you haven't listened to Rob Carson, he's awesome. He's on Newsmax from 12 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. He is an awesome person. The date is Saturday, January 17th. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. It's at the Bayview Bar and Grill. That's where Tim had his first announcement event. Now he's having this event with Rob Carson. Rob Carson loves Tim. And that's the QR code. Starts at 100, goes up to 500. And we have sponsorships as well. If you are a student, there's a $25 discount for students. So students get in for $25. But please, guys, bring your family, bring your friends. If you've never met Rob Carson, this is a great chance to meet Rob Carson. And people have already signed up for this event. This is going to be a big event. So please, guys, go to timfazenmaker.com, click on that QR code, get the tickets. If you can't make it, donate anyway. We had a lot of out-of-town people that donate, a lot of people around the state that donate to Tim. This is going to be a huge event, and we need Tim to win. This is his seat to win. We need him there. We want him there. And this is a seat that we will be following in the 2026 midterms. And the next person that will also be there, my friend, Kimberly Stansberry. Let's put her up. Kimberly Stansbury, she's running for Baltimore County Executive, the only woman running. The other people that are running are big supporters of CASA. They support illegal immigration. They support illegals over legal citizens of Baltimore County. They support reparations. They support upping the taxes. They do not care about you. Kim Stansbury is a mama bear. Her husband served our nation in Vietnam. He died of Agent Orange. He was a great man. And Kimberly is a great woman, and she is a mom and a grandma, and she has a very tight family, and her neighbors all love her, and she has friends that go out with her every Friday night. I mean, she's just a great person, and she's got a huge heart, and she really loves her community. She knows everything about the community. She knows the role of the county executive. She knows how to delegate. She knows how to legislate, and we need to put her in there. If elected, she'll be the first woman elected Baltimore County executive. So you guys will be making history. She is the only real Republican that's running. She will win that primary, but we need her to win the general as well. So please, guys, go to electkimstansbury.org. That's electkimstansbury.org. Give her a donation today. And of course, don't forget, we have our friend Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. We are always raising money for him for his GoFundMe page. Let's put that up. Poor Seth, he almost lost his foot 2 times. We've raised over $6,400 for him, and we need to continue. The final goal, or excuse me, the goal is 10,000. The final goal is 100,000, but we need to continue helping him out, because if not, it's a huge problem, because he's got bills to pay and he has a son he has to support. He's got other people in his household supporting. He's working 2 jobs to make ends meet. We need to help him. He served in our military, served in our Navy. It is time to get back to our veterans. Not to illegals, not to criminals, not to murderers, but to give to Jonah Eisenberg. So please, guys, go to GoFundMe /Jonah/Eisenberg/overcome/health/crisis, or you can just put Jonah Eisenberg to overcome a financial health crisis and donate $100, $150, $200 today. And of course, don't forget, we still have our shows going on. We will be taking a little bit of a hiatus. I know I will. This is my last show live. Before the new year. I will be having repeated shows, or I will be off the air until January of 2026. So it has been a pleasure this entire year with you guys. We haven't even been up and running in a year, but I'm looking forward to the new year. I'm looking forward to wonderful things happening for everybody in the new year. And I wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. And I wish everybody to be safe and to be merry. We also will still have Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner. He should be on live, or if not, repeated shows every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. I think Damon Galdo is taking a little bit of a break for the holidays, but he's normally on from 8 to 9 p.m. Monday and Friday night with the Jersey Shore. And we will be having repeated shows of The Pulse. The Pulse is taking a break until next year as well. And that's because of scheduling, because of Christmas Eve, because of Christmas and New Year's Eve. So please, guys, come back with us. We're all going to be live January 2026, and it is going to be a great new year with us. And we appreciate everybody that has been watching my show tonight, everybody that watches all of our shows throughout the week. We really appreciate it. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe us at America's Pulse Network on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, on True Social, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And of course, don't forget to follow me, Alexandra Levine, always on Facebook, Alexandra Levine, at Alexandra LEVI20 on X, at Air Levine85 on Rumble, Truth Social, Instagram, TikTok, Parler. I forgot we're on Parler as well at America's Pulse Network. Please, guys, have a beautiful Hanukkah, because Hanukkah doesn't end until the 22nd of December. So if you celebrate Hanukkah, don't forget to celebrate Hanukkah. Go to your regularly scheduled programming events with Hanukkah. Don't let these terrorists interfere with you celebrating your holiday. Have a safe Christmas Eve. Have a safe Christmas. Have a safe New Year's Eve, and have a safe New Year. God bless you all. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, Just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Thank you for watching this episode of Alexandra Levine Live. So please click subscribe and then share on your favorite social medias. This way you will get notified of each upcoming episode. We look forward to hearing from you on upcoming episodes.